investing, yet he's hiding his cuts from Canadians. What would the Conservative leader cut? Would he cut EV factories for Windsor, St. Thomas, and Quebec? Would he cut CCUS investment tax credits for projects in Alberta? Would he cut clean hydrogen investment tax credits for projects in Newfoundland? Mr. Speaker, our government is delivering an economic plan which is balanced and fiscally responsible. Conservatives should come clean with Canadians and let us know where they're going to cut.
The Honourable Member for Bellechasse-les-Échemins-Lévis. Well, Liberals have been talking about their waste all day, but the numbers are clear. 2 million Canadians are going to food banks every month. A family of 4 will have to spend $1,065 more this year for groceries. Students are having to sleep in shelters. Mortgage payments have doubled, and all of this mess bears the mark of this Prime Minister, who is not worth the cost. Will he at least have the decency and humility to admit that it is because of his inflationary spending that our country is in a deplorable situation, Mr. Speaker? The Honourable Minister of Innovation. Mr. Speaker, I appreciate my colleague's question, and I even have an idea for her. If she is so worried about affordability, Mr. Speaker, well, Christmas is coming up. Maybe she should give Canadians a present. She should vote in favor of Bill C-56. Why? Because in Bill C-56, we will reform our competition system, which is a reform we've needed for 30 years. We'll have less consolidation, more competition, better prices. She should convince all of her colleagues to move this bill forward to help Canadians for Christmas. The Honourable Member for Drummond. Mr. Speaker, less than a month ago, Quebecor announced that 547 jobs would be eliminated. That's a third of its workers. But that doesn't seem to bother the Minister of Heritage at all. Nothing in the economic statement, not a single penny for our TV and radio. This crisis in the media is a democratic crisis. Our access to information is being threatened, especially in our rural regions. Our culture and our sense of belonging is also being threatened, but the minister is not doing anything. Why? The Honourable Minister of Canadian Heritage. Mr. Speaker, I agree with my colleague on the fact that the media is in a crisis. That is why we've been there from the beginning. We've created new programs to support our information media. We modernized the Broadcasting Act. I'm sorry. I will just ask the minister to start over. Can I ask members on both sides to stop having discussions between themselves? It makes it hard to hear the answer. It's hard for me to hear, and I can't imagine that the member for Drummond, who's at the back of the room, will be able to hear it. Please go ahead. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As I was saying, our government has been there since it came to power in 2015 to help the cultural sector, to help it face the crises and disruption brought by foreign platforms into our market. That's why we modernized the Broadcasting Act, and the CRTC is currently consulting with broadcasters, platforms, and people in the cultural industry to see how we can better support our TV and radio and help them face our current reality. This modernization will bear fruit over the next weeks and months. I will continue to work closely with my colleague on these matters. Thank you. The Honourable Member for Drummond. Mr. Speaker, the work has been going on for a long time.